Welcome to Slow and Steady, a podcast where you get to follow along as we figure out how to build and run a SaaS. I'm Brian, and Benedikt is out this week, so it's just me. This is episode number 55, and I'm actually feeling a little weird. It really is strange to record this show all alone. So it'll probably be pretty short. Y'all, there's got a number of things that just wanted to mention here, keep you posted, put a little something in the podcast feed this week, but it'll for sure be shorter than normal. Let's see, following up on last week, I got some good feedback from some of y'all about the new domain name, that y'all are liking it, so thanks. I dig it as well. I think it's definitely a step in the right direction, much more memorable. So continue to keep my fingers crossed for the owner of headlamp.app to eventually start responding to my emails. The lead magnet, that I launched last week and had really great traction. Traffic has definitely calmed down on it, and it looks like the conversion rate is settling in. It's currently at 11.93% conversions. So everything I'm finding suggests that, something in that range is pretty strong. I would have loved for the, 20 something percent on the first 2 days. Would love for that to have held, but I don't think that's necessarily realistic. Anyway, so that's awesome. I had an instinct and a good bet that was going to do well with the right audience when they found it, and it's led to some pretty great conversations. So now what I'm trying to do is just work on continuing to drive some traffic to it and build up backlinks, and hopefully start being able to rank for some keywords that piece is targeted toward. And big news last week is that my wife has jumped in as Headlamp's, let's call it VP of marketing, to start doing outreach and sending emails to try to build up backlinks, or if more appropriate, to propose a guest post. So we've got a process all queued up, going through some backlink tools to see who's linking to the top 15 pages for the keywords that we want to hit. And then, reaching out to those folks and pointing out how wonderful and relevant for their audience it would be if they were to add a link to to this piece that I've got over on Headlamp. So, we've got that all, queued up and going in Trello, and she's been cranking on that. So thanks, Laura. Love you, baby. Okay. So speaking of backlinks, a really big win was that GitLab added a link to that manager's guide to employee engagement that I wrote from their page, How to Be a Great Remote Manager, from the article in their employee handbook. So yeah, that's a great link from a domain with very high authority to get things kicked off. Not bad at all. So listen, that was 100% because of my connection to Darren. Darren Murph is head of remote at GitLab, and earlier in the year, I think like February, maybe January, I interviewed him on Bright and Early about remote work. And so I was able to, reach back out to him. Hey, Darren, hope you're doing great. Been loving, all the work that you're doing. And mentioned a couple of his recent interviews that I had seen. Hey, we had a great conversation with you about remote work. I've been thinking a whole lot about, this and the overlap with employee engagement, working on an app, and I put together this piece. Would love if you take a look. And I think that this part of your handbook would be a great place to link to it. Let me know what you think. And there's a very good chance that, if we didn't have any sort of relationship, that's, there's some percentage of those that work out. Obviously, that's why you do them. But I had a connection with him. He responded right away. Wow, this is amazing work. Looks great. It's in, and he had already had it posted. So I think the reason I wanted to mention this is that I saw a couple of different places in some Slack groups recently, where I don't know, like people were saying something to the effect of, oh, hey, just what the world needs, another podcast, or hey, just what the world needs, another, Slack app. And I first of all, I just really, really dislike that. I dislike that perspective to my very core. And the counterbalance of that is, for sure, be sure that if you're going to do something, if you're going to put it out there, that it should offer some value back. It shouldn't be for purely selfish and self-motivated reasons. And so let me close this loop here, is that if I had not decided that, what, the world does not need another podcast, but I want to have these conversations. I think that I might have something to say. And if I had listened to the sort of, noise in the ether out there of, oh, great, another one of these or another one of those, I would never have done it, and would not have had that connection to Darren and countless other things. Like that's just one example of unexpected benefits of things that show up down the road. Justin Jackson had a tweet just today, actually, that was about luck and, how big of a deal is it? And, I heard at some point somebody describing luck surface area, and I think I've talked about it on this podcast specifically, that you can't control luck, but you can control how exposed to it you are. That you can do. And so I think it's a bit fashionable right now to kind of put too much emphasis on luck or act as if you have no control over it whatsoever. And I just don't believe that to be true. Oprah Winfrey said that luck is opportunity meeting preparation, or preparation meeting opportunity, same deal. But, I fully agree with that. And so anybody who's listening, if anybody has said to you recently, because you shared an idea that you were going to do and they were like, that's just what the world needs, another one of those, right? Just ignore that. As long as, I do want to say, if you're thinking about starting a business, make sure that there is demonstrated market demand, at least to some extent. So, okay, rant over. Super exciting, thing happening in the very early days of headlamp.team to get a link from gitlab.com. And it all happened because I started a podcast. So, all right, related to this whole thing about finding backlinks and trying to drive traffic to the site, keyword research, y'all. There's something about the keyword research skill and tactics that I just feel like I am missing something, or it's just not fully clicking for me. And so, so seeing that initial traction and interest in the manager's guide that I posted, like, okay, cool. Yeah, that is working. That is going to, pay dividends down the road. All right, I'm ready to jump in. Totally. I'm game to jump in on another one. But I want to be, strategic about it. And the intuitive part of keyword research feels really hard for me to grasp. The part where, and I've watched YouTube tutorials, out of my ears, and, tested a couple tools. But the thing is, like, the YouTube tutorials, a lot of them are geared towards e-commerce. And so they're starting with the examples they use are organic dog food or tennis rackets, something like that, and where they're dealing with search volumes in like the many hundreds of thousands or something. And so the techniques are helpful, like search for a broad keyword that you could never rank for, and then sort by traffic ascending, so that like the first ones you see are just monthly traffic of 10, and then filter out by a minimum of 250, and then find the keywords that have a low difficulty that are in the 250 to 750 monthly search volume, and go after those. Okay, cool. Yes, got it. That part of it, yes, I can follow those instructions. Where I feel like I have to be missing something, and where I would love some input and feedback, is it feels like I'm not thinking all the way through the strategic aspect of keyword research, where you pull in, intent and the different stages of the buying journey, problem aware, solution aware, etc., and how each of those map to a different type of keyword that you would even right now, I just feel exhausted by it, because I feel like I've dug in, I've like really tried to understand this, to be strategic about it, and it just still doesn't fully click for me. And I think, okay, the world I am envisioning is where I have a Google spreadsheet and I know what post I need to write tomorrow. And I feel like I've just kind of been on this merry-go-round of being wary of investing time into that, because I'm not fully convinced that I have found the most optimal, or best keywords that are most likely to to be worth my time. And some of you might be asking, well, didn't you just get through writing 9,000 something words about, and yes, but I also knew, had very good sense that the right visitors would be very, very interested in that topic. So that felt more intuitive than a longer term strategic plan. So okay, moving along. I've got I just want to also Benedikt, if you're listening to this, man, I miss you, buddy. This is so much more fun. When it's a conversation, I really hope you're enjoying your vacation, your well-earned and well-deserved time off. All right, I have a call tomorrow morning with a prospect, and actually, you know what? This is actually more of a discovery call. It was like an outreach from me, cold outreach. Hey, you've got a lot of experience in this space. I would love to chat with you, hear about the challenges you face on a regular basis, et cetera, et cetera. So this was not an inbound, hey, looks cool, can we talk? This was me outbound. I have a thing I'm working on, and I would love to get some advice from you. Can we talk? So hopefully that'll lead to some interesting stuff. I did have 2 calls last week, both very, very warm, and with good-sized companies, several hundred employees, both of whom are interested in doing a little pilot with a small team. And so neither ready to buy on the phone, but very, very interested. So I'm gonna continuing to follow up with those. And I also related to that, because I was saying a little bit ago, I intuitively suspected that this piece that I just published would resonate with the right folks. If I haven't said it on this show before, 10 or so years ago, in a previous life of mine, I was in sales and marketing at an employee engagement company, and before I got back into software again, and so yeah, I spent 4 years selling and marketing employee engagement and reward and recognition systems to Fortune 500 companies, and worked for this small little outfit in the Dallas Fort Worth area. And so one of the guys that I worked with there, we're very, very close friends and have remained close friends, reached out and was like, "Hey, I saw what you just launched. I think we should talk." And so could be an interesting opportunity there, to collaborate on some things, or just basically see where it develops. They're actually interested in. My friend is interested in trialing it out with his team, and so the potential prospect, that's awesome. Also potential business partnership there, depending upon how things develop. So yeah, so that's super, super exciting. Gonna just keeping on plugging away. It does feel, man, it's so hard to be objective when you're on the inside of it. And yeah, boy, it sure does feel and smell like traction here. People are responding, and is this like gradual, and then a year down the road things really click into place, or am I like getting a little bit too excited about a seeing eye single that just slipped by the first baseman, and it's nothing to get too excited about. So it's just hard to so hard to know when you're on the inside of it. But anyway, last thing, and then I will wrap this up. All of the calls so far, each person, and in emails as well, like everybody zeroes in on the check-ins feature, like the red, yellow, green. If you haven't checked out headlamp.team and watched the demo video there, it'll make more sense. But everybody really zeroes in on that. It's like, I really like that. And going back to like this very show, when I had showed that initial demo to Benedikt, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, the check-ins thing, like that seems like what you should really do that, huh?" And that has continued to be true. And so what nobody says is, "Oh, I really like the way that you can schedule your one-on-ones. That's cool." And so I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to, have a default position of taking action, and just going to bring check-ins front and center, focus on that in my follow-ups and future calls, to, just continue to suss out, okay, what exactly? And everybody says it's the simplicity. It just makes it very, very easy. It feels like to just boom, kind of take a quick look. Can I spot some trends? Like what might this tell me? This could help me take an immediate next action, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm working on fleshing out that feature, working on some visualizations that will, I think just, present those things in different ways. One of the calls said, I'd like to, I usually, assess things by department as well, or by team. And so I'm working on some ways that you would be able to basically see a red, yellow, green status by department, as well as by individual member. So just really gonna zero in on focusing on check-ins on all of my follow-ups and calls, and see if that continues to resonate with folks, and if there's something interesting there that I can do with it. Okay, that will do it for the oddest episode of Slow and Steady that I've ever recorded. You can follow us on Twitter at SlowSteadyPod. or slowandsteadypodcast.com. I am B-Ray on Twitter, and I'm for real about the keyword research thing. If there are some tools or tactics that you've used, if there's a tutorial that you want to be like, Brian, forget what you've seen, this is the one, hit me up. I really want a breakthrough on this in the next, couple of weeks, in the sense of feeling like, okay, cool, I've got that solved. I know what my next 15 posts are, and can write them with confidence. So that's where I'm at. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Seriously, it means a lot. It's really, really fun to put things out there and to hear feedback. So thanks for listening. Hope you have a great week.